Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Car Reviews Podcast here with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Before I introduce the two cars on the screen behind me, I wanted to remind you to check out the Collector Car Stories Podcast. That's something we just have a little fun with. Usually, we talk to an enthusiast about a car or a group of cars, sometimes an event organizer, or even wandering around at an event. Many have heard of the Cobble Beach Concours d'Elegance. The most recent episode of Collector Car Stories podcast right now was dropped soon after the concours, and it's a tour of a bit of the grounds. It's only the first one of three that we recorded, so take a look and watch for the rest of them. Some really amazing cars to see there, even if they are only dream cars for most of us mere mortals. Anyway, on to the cars. So today I have two cars to tell you about. You can see the red one behind me. It's a 1992 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 25th anniversary with under 26,000 kilometers. In fact, I attended when the photos and videos were shot of this car, and at the time it was under 25,000. It was 24,987 or thereabouts. The owner, knowing that it was going to go on to its next owner soon, took it for a ride and broke the 25,000 kilometer barrier. So we're promoting it as sub 26K kilometers, but it's really probably going to go to its new owner with under 25,200. So full load on this 92 Z28 25th anniversary. It's the last year of the third generation of Camaro, and that low mileage is really something. 305 V8 engine. It's the GB9 engine. Good for 205 horsepower with the 4-speed automatic transmission with automatic overdrive. Power mirrors, power locks, power windows, power seat for the driver, cruise control, tilt steering, ice cold air conditioning, still blowing cold. And the really nice period piece for me, at least on this car, is the T-top. So finished in bright red over a red cloth interior, custom red cloth interior. So that one is lot 319 on collectorcarcanada.ca. The blue one, this one's a special one for me. We started the website, geez, it's almost 5 years ago, and this was the first car we ran. Mea culpa, it was a rough auction. It's been really great since. We've learned a lot since, but we didn't do so well with that first auction. But here it is, the first auction item. We kept in touch with the owner over the years, and he's had it sitting in his shop most of the time. Heated indoor storage, certainly. It's a 1969 Volkswagen Beetle, 4-speed manual, and it's restored. So this one was restored circa 2018, 2019. You can see you can probably tell it's got a fresh coat of paint on it. I'm just calling that pale blue, but it's a very good likeness to the original chrome blue for this 69 Beetle. And inside, it's trimmed in black. The seats are vinyl, as you'd expect, but matching black carpets, matching black carpet under the cargo cover, which of course is in the front for this car, being a rear engine machine. And that engine is 1500 cc's, a flat four, so a boxer four, and that 4-speed gets the power to the rear wheels, much like the Camaro rear drive. So that one is lot 317 on collectorcarcanada.ca. That's a bit of an intro. Let's get into further detail about these two beauties. Thank you for watching. Hi, everyone. Well, we found another great one for you. Welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews Podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. I'm going to check my microphone. Looks like it's all right. Welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews Podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. I said we've found another great one for you. Well, this one is a 1992 Chevrolet Camaro Z28. So it's got the 5-liter. It's got the better of the two 5-liters offered. I'll get into that through the video. But 1992, the last year of third generation F-body, Camaro and Firebird types will know that. But, and that makes it interesting as it is. But even better, This one is sitting here with 24,977 kilometers from new. It's not a 5-digit odometer, in case you're thinking of that. There's a 0 preceding the 2. So this one is going to its new owner. It might crack 25,000 kilometers because it's only 23 kilometers away. And if there are a couple of demo rides during the sale process, it'll break it, but certainly under 26,000 kilometers from new on this Canadian market. 1992 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 with a 5-liter engine, tune ported injection, 4-speed automatic with automatic overdrive. So this one is finished in a bright red, as you see. You can see the Z28 emblem just behind the front wheel, and there's venting in front of each of those wheels just to keep the tires cooled a little bit from a crosswind. And yeah, the story, well, this one's got air conditioning, I'll say it while I'm thinking of it, because we tested the AC. It's blowing nice and cold. This one's a real opportunity at such low mileage. Very sought after cars. Last year of the F body 3rd generation, 1992. So I'm going to give it a start, and then we'll move on to shooting the rest of the car. So here we go with the startup. Running really nicely. You can probably hear the promise of the power from the 5.0. That was not a cold start. We've shot some driving videos of the car today, so if you want to hear the engine while it's working under load, you can take a look at those on the detailed listing. It's lot 319 on collectorcarcanada.ca. But speaking of the cold start, we did shoot a cold start video earlier today. The car even spent the night overnight outside, which is rare for this car. The owner's place has a triple garage, so there's plenty of space for this. It's been with the current owner, I think it's 14 years. So not an original owner, but a long-time owner, certainly. But I believe there are 3 owners. So 3 owners have conspired to keep the miles really low. I should say kilometers, because as I say, it's a Canadian market car. Today sitting at 0.24977 kilometers. So I'm going to hop out of the car, grab the camera, and we'll do our normal thing, listening to the sound of the idle from the engine compartment and the exhaust, and we'll proceed with the video. Okay, so we have the hood open and the hatch open as well. No getting around it. I'll just mention that we've got a stick propping up the hood. The hood stays are not much good anymore, well worn. However, the hatch stays look strong. You can see the hatch is being kept up by them. 5-liter or 305 cubic inch engine in this 1992 Camaro Z28. Some people might be thinking back to the IROC Z Camaros of the 80s. Certainly the same body style as this. This 3rd generation Camaro ran from model years 82 to 92. But I think it was 1989 where Dodge took over the sponsorship of the International Race of Champions. So that's where IROC came from. And the Dodge Daytona was wearing the IROC badge by the time this car was made in 1992. But Z28 certainly was a mainstay of the sporty Camaros right from 1st gen in 1967 through to the most recent Camaro, which was made for the 2023 model year. Of course, there was a break in there from 03 to 10. 2010 was when the Camaro returned in 5th generation form. So we're getting close to have a listen to that 305. I've got a separate microphone, and Mr. Editor, I'm turning it on right now. Interesting thing about the 92 Z28s, there are a couple of 305 cubic inch V8s offered, and we'll cruise in on the VIN here. You can see, if you can't, we've got a photo of it. The eighth character of the VIN is an F as in Frank. So for the automatic transmissions, which this is, that came with 205 horsepower, so a little stronger than the other V8 that was offered. The manual came with a bit more power, but this car is an auto. Let's cruise around back. Dual exhaust, as you might expect. We'll get a listen to the exhaust at idle. Actually, I deliberately left the hatch open. There's something I wanted to show you here in case I forget to do it when we're looking at the interior of the car. Much like Cadillacs, certainly of the period and before, not so many Camaros. This has a motorized trunk. So I'm going to gently draw it down, and then the car will do the rest. So now it's closed. So you don't slam the 92 Z28's trunk. So you can see the tune port injection, talking about the fuel injection method. And there's a neat Z28 emblem. So I'm going to get that second microphone ready. Mr. Cameraman, I'm turning, or Mr. Editor rather, I'm turning it on right now. And I'll get in close to the exhaust on either end. That's the left side, driver's, and then passenger side. So even from that idle, you can hear the promise of power. I didn't mention it, must have been obvious from the intro, but this car is equipped with T-tops. They're stowed over here by the garage, and there's a dedicated vinyl case for them that's actually attached to the hatch, so you know that's original. Right now we've got that cargo cover in the up position, but there is a cargo cover to store your or to protect your valuable items from the eyes of people to whom they don't belong. Couple other interesting things about this car. It's done very low miles, kilometers in the current owner's hands. And before it went to the current owners, around 2011, I believe it was a Nova Scotia car. Canadians who travel every province, and Nova Scotians themselves will know no front license plate in Nova Scotia. So the front has never been drilled for a license plate, and that Chevy emblem, usually covered for Ontario 92 Z28s or third generation Z28s and Camaros, very much apparent here. Of course, it's against the rules to operate a car in Ontario without the license plate, but the front plate has never been drilled, and that Chevy emblem is right there. Some would call it a bow tie. I wanted to show you the lights too, because the car's got, so that was the headlights I just turned on, and then there's a fog light switch here, because the car's got an aggressive look with those fog lights illuminated. I wanted to do that for you now while the car's running, because we're about to kill the engine and get on with our exterior tour. Fogs, you can see there's a green indicator meant to suggest that they're illuminated, and the headlights. And I'm gonna cut the engine now. So give me a second and we'll move on with the exterior tour. Beautiful sunny day today, just south of Ottawa. I think we might be in the political boundaries, within the political boundaries of Ottawa, but the area of Ottawa we're in, south of the downtown certainly, is called Greeley. So that's where the car is being offered from. So the familiar headlights from 82 to 92 on these Camaros. Again, the bow tie emblem appears on where a front license plate would go if one were affixed, and then the fog lights on either side of it. smoked indicator light lenses. And then you can see there's a bit of a vent there in the side of the front air dam to send some cool air to those tires while the car is performing and moving. And we'll get in close to these tires. It's a set of Michelins. It's a square setup, so same size at all four corners. You can see these Michelin Pilot XGT V4s are sized 245, 50, R16 with a V speed rating. Stock wheels, so a 5-spoke with Camaro in the very center of the center cap, but Chevrolet on either side of the edge. And disc brakes underneath. You can see that center cap would pop off to get at the bolts. I guess I should say studs because there'd be nuts on studs in this car. And I'll mention that the key for the wheel nuts, each wheel would have one needing the key. It's sitting in the center console of the car right now. One thing I haven't mentioned is that this 1992 Chevrolet Camaro 25th anniversary with under 25,000 kilometers is being offered by the owner, Ontario Safety. So a big inclusion for buyers in Ontario, but even for buyers outside of Ontario, it's nice to know that. Just take a look at the Ministry of Transportation of Ontario's website, and you'll get a sense of the exhaustive list of items that that need to be compliant with safety regulation for the car to change hands in Ontario. So for the people in Ontario, one less impediment to getting the car registered in your name. And as I say, a peace of mind item for buyers outside of Ontario. I just threw in quickly the 25th anniversary characteristic of this car. Again, the Camaro began as kind of GM's response to Mustang in model year 1967. And there's a special 25th anniversary emblem just in front of the passenger side of in front of the passenger seat, sort of on the passenger side of the dash. And as I say, a square setup. So the Michelin Pilot XGT V4s, a set of 4. They're the same tires on all of the 4 rims. And this rim, we can see it's showing some signs of weathering. I don't see any curb rash on it. But yeah, it's showing a bit of patina. And there's a good look at that sizing. 245, 50, R16, the V speed rating. Fuel cap, no key or remote release. If you want to look at it, we've got a photo of the cap removed on the detailed listing. Again, lot 319 on collectorcarcanada.ca. And then the later third generation, familiar grid pattern, I'll call them tail lights. That's my description. I don't know that GM used it. And the spoiler is a little higher on this 92 than the ones on the earlier Z28s, which would have been attached all the way across. So this one allows for a little bit of airflow. I showed you these emblems, but I'll show them to you again. So relating to fuel delivery, a 2-port injection model. And there's that Z28 emblem over here on the right side. And those pipes as well. So dual exhaust. So the what we believe to be the original paint, certainly we've got a Carfax on the detailed listing for lot 319. Take a look at it. But the paint looks bright and has retained good luster over the years. The patina I noticed is on the wheel. As I say, I noticed it on the driver's rear rim. So a good look at the rim here. I don't see the same patina effect on this passenger's rear, but I do see a Michelin Pilot XGT V4 with very good tread. And even the door handles look pretty good. There is a little bit of marking on. If you're noticing a change in the picture, it's because the battery on our main camera died. So I'm using the backup camera. I'm noting that the passenger rear wheel does not show that same patina effect we saw over on the driver's side, but I do see the Michelin Pilot XGT V4 in the same size, again, same size all the way around, 245, 50. Is that our R16 with the V speed rating. Working our way, that skirt with the opening to allow a little bit of airflow to that tire to keep it cool under load. Dual color coded mirrors on the side of this Z28. I asked the owner about the antenna, and the owner mentioned that there's no antenna because it does not, their car cover does not fit over the antenna. So that's why it's removed. The owner's going to take a look in the basement to see if they can locate that antenna. And if it's included, we'll indicate that in a detailed listing for lot 319. Here's the front passenger side rim. Again, I don't see the patina here that I did see on the driver's rear. I didn't look closely for it on our driver's front, so when we get done our circle check, I'm going to take a look at that for you. And there's the front spoiler with the airflow area to enable some cooling of the front tires. Cool headlights that we saw from 82 to 92 on the Camaros. And here's a closer look at the driver's front rim. I see a little bit of, I guess some, I think it just needs a good clean. I don't see the same patina I do. So it's just the one rim showing patina on the driver's rear. So that'll about do it for our exterior tour. Let's move to the cabin. Red on red for this 1992 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 with under 25,000 kilometers and the 25th anniversary edition. So the biggest flaw, easily the flaw on this car is this dash. It's showing cracking just beyond the instrumentation here on the driver's side. Getting a good look, we got red on red. The door cards, very presentable and a very well optioned car. It wasn't every car in 1992 that had power mirrors, power locks, and a power seat for the driver. This car's got a power seat for the driver, but not the passenger. So the passenger seat is manually operated. What I suspect to be original floor mats are in place. And I say that because you can see that GM emblem and the color of this mat matches the carpet underneath. And you can see that footwell's been well protected over the years. A little dead pedal to the left of the brake and the hood release. So consistent with what I said about the well optioned car. We see cruise control and intermittent wipers on the stock that operates the indicators, and beyond that there's another stock for the tilt wheel. Airbag in place for the driver, and then there are the light switches I showed you earlier for both headlights and fogs. Working our way to the center console, that's where the windows are controlled, and this center of the three switches, the center is to release that motorized hatch that I showed you earlier. 4-speed automatic with automatic overdrive. You can see that emblem there. And AM/FM cassette, period. Well, it's a stock item, so I guess that by definition it's period correct. But the one thing I noticed on this one, this is kind of the higher end cassette deck for the period. It's got auto reverse, and it'll even find the next song for you. So we took that for granted starting with CDs, but with the tapes, it was a high-end tape deck that did that. AC is equipped. We tested that out earlier. It blows nice and cold on this warm day in the Ottawa area. There's a lighter, there's a nice clean ashtray here. I don't know if it's ever been used. And there's that Z28 emblem over on the passenger side of the dash with the 25th anniversary badge. So that makes this car a pretty special, being that it's the last year of the 3rd gen and also the 25th anniversary model. GM emblem on this passenger floor mat as well. And then of course there's a handbrake. Center console has an opening with some storage. Show that to you. And there's the key for the wheel locks. So cloth seats. And there's a Camaro emblem on the seat back for both passenger and driver. You can see the rear view mirror is not in place. The owner already has an appointment for that safety check I mentioned because the car is being offered with an Ontario safety. She's going to ask the mechanic to reattach the rear view mirror. It's sitting in the back seat. I'll show it to you in a second here when we get back. But I'm going to pop my head up through the T-roofs and you can see the aggressive look of the hood. Now those black bits of color contrasting on the red are faux openings. There's no real vent work, but it does give the car an aggressive look. All right, so the back seat, usable back seat for a little sports car of the early 90s. You can see here's the original mirror, and it's got a map light on either end. And here's something that the owners just didn't get around to doing, but they're happy to have their mechanic do it. Lots of documentation over there. On the top of the stack is the owner's manual, but we've gone through the documents and we're gonna have those on the detailed listing for lot 319. There's also an appraisal, which is interesting. So you'll get a sense of what the appraiser figured this 25K kilometer 1992 Chevrolet Camaro 25th anniversary car was worth. A couple things I'm going to grab the keys for here. You can see I showed you the VIN in the opening when we were talking about the more desirable, more powerful engine, but it's set out here as well. And then the car does not have a glove box on the dash. There is that center console storage. I won't call it a glove box because it's located in a bit of a funny spot to be a glove box, but yeah, there's some storage here. And this is where we find all of the option codes for the car. So those are often in a GM car. They're often found in a center console or the glove box, but here they are in this hatch mounted storage area. There are a couple of maintenance items unused in there, and we've got we got photos of those on the detailed listing for lot 319. I know there was a air filter. I don't remember everything, but just take a look at our detailed listing. So here's the dedicated, purpose-built stowage cover for the T-roofs. You can see there's even some instructions there, making it look like a factory item to me. And then, although the front license plate is not in place, here's a bracket for it. So if the next owner decides he needs to drill the bumper to install that, this is the one you need, and you can see it is the right for this car. Another nice touch is this cargo cover. It attaches up here. So now it's in place, and then when we close the hatch, certainly anything down here is covered. But I'm gonna leave it open just as the owners did. A little ladybug's joined us here. Let's see if I can give the ladybug a new life outside the car. So yeah, there's a good look at the interior of this 25K kilometer 1992 Chevrolet Corvette. Pardon me, it's not a Corvette. Chevrolet Camaro 25th anniversary with the T-tops. On now to some closing thoughts. So that's our look at the 25K kilometer 1992 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 25th anniversary edition. Super low miler, under 25,000 kilometers as it sits. 13 Ks to go till it hits 25,000, so it's possible it'll break 25,000 before it gets to its new owner, but certainly under 26. It's got the more powerful of the two 305 cubic inch V8s offered in 92. So a factory rating of 205 horsepower on this 5-liter 305 cubic inch V8. Automatic overdrive, sending all that juice to the rear wheels. And with that dual exhaust, it promises output, and you feel it when you put the foot down. So red on red,
air conditioning, tilt, cruise, power windows, power locks, power seat for the driver, um, tilt wheel, fully loaded for 1992 Chevrolet Camaro Z28. Under 25K kilometers and the 25th anniversary edition. The final year of third generation F body. This car's got a lot going for it. So that'll about do it for the video. I do want to thank you for watching. And we're going to move from this lot 319, we're going to move on to the next car.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. People following the website from the beginning might recognize this one. This car was the subject of the first auction we ever ran back in the spring of 2021. We did not get it sold, and it was a learning experience. Uh, a few things have changed since. We like to think we're a little bit better at running the website. Definite learning curve on that first item. I don't think there's any debating that. But a couple of things that haven't changed are the owner of this car, about how many miles it's driven. It hasn't been driven much since that first auction, and that same seller has been loyal to us throughout. We've been loyal back. We service a couple of our cars at his licensed shop. But another thing that hasn't changed is our goal of being maybe not the biggest, but the best online collector car auction platform with buy it now items in Canada. And we feel we are realizing that goal on many fronts. In any event, enough corporate propaganda. Onto the car as I set the handbrake. This one is a 1969 Volkswagen Beetle 4-speed manual. You can see it presents very nicely. Certainly, this owner got the tires shined up for us. But this one was subject to an exhaustive restoration between, say, 2015, 2020. We do have both documentation for the resto as well as photos of the work in process on the detailed listing. This one is lot 317 on collectorcarcanada.ca. So this is finished in a pale blue, refinished, of course. It's a very good tribute to the 1969 Volkswagen Beetle color of chrome blue. Black interior. It's got a 1500cc flat four engine, carbureted, and a 4-speed manual transmission, getting the power such as it is to the rear wheels. Have a look at our detailed listing, please, for horsepower ratings. Another neat touch, those who've seen our videos before know I really like these vent windows in the 60s and early 70s cars, and I suppose earlier. A nice touch to get some air flowing through the cabin on a hot summer day. And here we are. I'd call it Indian summer. It is October, perhaps, but we continue to enjoy beautiful weather here in southern Ontario and throughout Canada, it seems. And this car, I'll mention it, is offered in the east end of Toronto. We are currently in the borough of Scarborough on the east side of Toronto to shoot the video. Again, it's lot 317 on collectorcarcanada.ca. The 1969 Volkswagen Beetle 4-speed manual. A couple neat things about the 69. It's the first year for Beetle to have independent rear suspension, IRS for short. To give you a sense of that, the neat thing about that I'm always blown away by is Mustangs. We sell more Mustangs than we do Beetles on the website, but Mustang didn't have independent rear suspension across the whole line of Mustang until the S550 in 2015. So there are a few things that I would suggest put these German Beetles ahead of their time back in 69. Certainly that's one of them. Another first in 1969 is the remote fuel release. It's not that remote. It's over on the passenger side and it's a cable, but you need to release that to open the fuel door. We've got photos of it open and closed, as well as the fuel cap on the detailed listing for lot 317. And there are a couple of lasts for the Beetle in 69 as well. One of them is these high headrests. You can't see them right now, but we'll get a good look when we do the interior portion of the video, as well as the teardrop shaped indicators up front on those front fenders. Again, we'll get a good look at those when there's someone with a 72 Skylark rolling by. I hope you heard his exhaust. He was just waving because that's what old car people do with each other, whether a domestic, German, or even the Asian or other Europeans. Pretty neat to feel that sense of camaraderie, I always think. In any event, got blown away talking about the hobby and how much fun we have with it. Uh, so, yeah, the teardrop shaped front indicators were last used as you see them here in 1969. So, I'm going to start the car now. That's why I was setting that handbrake earlier. I better make sure we're in neutral because this period of car, of course, you can start the car, a manual transmission car, without the clutch down. Just make sure it's in neutral or you're going to jump forward, all you newbies who've only driven manual transmission cars from, say, 1995 forward. Maybe a little earlier than that. Anyway, lot 317, Volkswagen Beetle, 4-speed manual, model year 1969. Here comes the start. All right, it started right up. Can't claim to be a cold start, as you might have guessed. The car did not spend the night where we're sitting right now. We do have a start idle exhaust video on the detailed listing. Again, it's not a perfectly cold start. I'll call it a cool start, but you can see that on lot 317's detailed listing. And I think it's time now that I jump out of the car and we'll get a closer look and listen to the engine and exhaust at idle. So for the uninitiated of these original Beetles, very much unlike the new Beetle, it started around 1999 or 2000, a front-wheel drive car that was based on the Golf platform. This one's very different. As you see, I've got the compartment in the rear open because that's where the engine is. It's also a rear drive car, as I think I might have mentioned in the intro. So I've got a separate microphone here in my other hand. Let's get in close to that engine and take a good listen. All right, sounds pretty good at idle. That inimitable flat 4 boxer air-cooled sound. So I'll zoom in now to the exhaust. We'll get a good listen to what's coming out of those twin pea shooter pipes. Okay, I think we got a good listen to it, but while the engine covers up, I'm gonna cut the engine, as I say. But let's take a little bit more of a tour of the engine. I want to get up close so you can see how clean it is and why it was running so nicely. So, good close-up look at these pulleys and the teeth on the belt and the outside of the belt. There's the distributor and wires, of course, 4 of them up here for carb and air filter. So yeah, all in all, a pretty clean engine compartment. Well, Phil, and I'll say the same for the underside of the cover, as you can see here. So do take a look. I'm just thinking of the paint now. Do take a look at that detailed listing of ours, please, and you'll see the exhaustive restoration in process there. You get a feel for how comprehensive the job was and why this car is in such fine condition. All right, I'm going to cut the video now and then we'll move to the exterior portion of the tour. All right, so on to the exterior. As I was suggesting in the opening, I'm just going to call the paint shade a pale blue, but I think it's fair to say that it's a very good imitation, almost a match for the original chrome blue color from 1969 Beetles. You can see they're not original caps, but I'm going to call them original style caps, the chrome domes. Um, and then they partially cover the black painted steel wheels. I'll get in a little closer to those and the tires in a minute here, and we can see through those openings, the venting to the brakes below. But up front here, the car has not done many miles at all since the paint was applied. So I don't even see any stone chips on this front end. I mostly the only imperfections I see are dust, and that's attributable to the car being stored in a heated facility at the owner's shop here in the east end of Toronto, being in Scarborough. But even that chrome, quite good. I don't see any pitting on the chrome at all, just some watermarks and a bit of dust. I'll say the same for the handle here for the front storage cover. We'll take a look at that too when we get onto the next segment of the video. And I'll also show off this pretty cool VW emblem here towards the cowl. And then here are these teardrop shaped indicator lights I mentioned in the opening. Again, last year for those was this 1969 model year. So getting in close, I'm trying to avoid my shadow being in the shot here. Beautiful sunny day here in the eastern end of Toronto. So we've got a set of drum brakes all around on the 1969 Beetle. And we've got a set of, I'm going to call them NOS tires. I see steel belted metric radial, and the size is 165 R15 with an S speed rating. So most of us are used to three numbers in that sizing. Back in, I guess, pre 75, I have a 1973 model year car, and the original tires were this syntax of numbers. So basically you go by the width of the rim. We've got that information on the detailed listing. So it's 165 in width with the 15-inch diameter wheel. But there's a good close-up of the wheel. So a steel wheel painted in black with the chrome cover. Again, the paint over on this side of the car looking very good, including on this, I'll call it a running board. There's a look at one of the vent windows up close. So this is how you operate it, lock it when you're in the inside. Only one side mirror on this 1969 VW Beetle 4-speed manual. So chrome capped. There is a little bit of, I don't know if it's pitting or imperfection or what, but it's not quite as nice as the bumper. Wanted to show you that. We had some photos of the roof on the detailed listing for lot 317, but there's a look at it. I didn't see any paint imperfections up there. And when I was walking around the car, I saw that most of the panes have the VW emblem. We took some pictures of those, put them on that detailed listing, lot 317. Here's a look at the driver's rear wheel and tire. So matching set of tires at all fours, 165 R15 with the S speed rating. This wheel showing some imperfection. Some of that black paint on the steel is chipped off there, but the chrome cover looks very good. And those weights look fresh too, indicating a recent balance. I haven't said until now, as you might expect for a fella who owns his own service facility, this car is being sold with an Ontario Safety Standard Certificate. So very important if you're in Ontario, certainly, because you need that to transfer the ownership. But I think for out of province buyers, it's also a good indicator of the condition of the car. Those out of province buyers, if they're curious, they'd be well served to take a look at our Service Ontario website. You get a sense of what needs to be complied with to get that Ontario Safety Standard Certificate. I might add that The checklist has not changed, but over the past year or so, the regulation and enforceability has changed and the monitoring has changed to the point where there's even the ability by the Ministry of Transport to monitor the inspection as it goes on in real-time video. So no more back of the napkin Ontario Safety Standards certificates, I'll call them. Here's a good look at the tricolor tail lights. I'm going to look into this. I don't know if 1969 had the ambers in the rear in North American market. So take a look at our detailed listing, lot 317, for that information. But certainly they would have had the white lens for reverse. And you can see I called them by their slang name already, those pea shooter exhaust pipes, do twin pipes, which is kind of neat for a 1.5 liter engine, flat floor, and a neat Volkswagen emblem here, as people who've been around Beetles are accustomed to seeing. You can see there's some venting there, being a rear engine car, and I'm not sure if you can see it. The glass is a little dusty, as I say, but I can see the lines for the defroster. Good look at the shaded side of the car. We're pretty close to a few other cars. I love it when we get a parking lot all to ourselves, but prepare to see some other cars in the background here. So working around to the shaded side of the car, here's a good look at the passenger side tire and rim. This rim looks better than the last one we looked at. The black paint looks even and complete. And again, the 165 R15 tire with the S speed rating. I'll give you a look at the tread on these. No trouble at all for tread. Those tires would have been installed new during the restoration process I mentioned earlier. So working our way. I didn't zoom right in on the driver's side door handle, but it's as good as this one. No pitting that I can see on that. And here's a look at the vent window here on the driver's side. And moving forward to the fuel door, I already mentioned the remote release. I'll try to remember to show that to you when we're on the interior of the car. But it's closed right now, locked as you see. Can't open that. There's that VW emblem I like so much I showed you earlier. And a good set of black wiper arms and blades, and I even see the Bosch name on the wiper blade, so that'd be a nice authentic original touch. Exterior door hinges also look good, nice even paint. And then the last rim and tire to look at. As I say, a matching set of tires at all four, and this black painted steel wheel looking pretty sharp, as is the chrome cover for it. There's a look at the tread on this tire. I've got a stabilizer on the camera, so sometimes I don't like it when it doesn't like it when I go for an angle that is counterintuitive to that programmed intelligence in the stabilizer. There's a good look at the, as I say, what I'll call a running board over here. Not quite sure what the proper Volkswagen term is for that. Here's a jack point. Didn't mention it on the other side, but you'll see it's twin over on the other side. Now we're back to the front of the car. Another good look at those teardrop shaped indicators. Final year as 1969. So a good look at the front end of the car. So that'll do it for the exterior portion of the tour. Let's move on to the cabin. We're beside a pretty big sports field here, so if you hear an engine running, it's not the Beetle's engine, it's that fantastic Toro lawnmower whose driver is doing quite a capable job of maneuvering inside the soccer net. I suppose Europeans following this European car might call it a football net. I guess I'm showing my Canadian roots. In any event, back to the tour here. I just wanted to show you that in case you're wondering about the background sound. Didn't get that steering wheel perfectly straight. Keys in it, I'm able to move it. So, black vinyl interior. One thing I did notice is that the seat bottom for the driver is different from the rest of the vinyl seat coverings. So I'm gathering that's been replaced. It's a nice replacement, very good condition, but it does not match. So I'm also thinking it's not original. good look at the driver's door card. An interesting thing for me for a 1969 car is there's even a little map pocket here, but otherwise the basics with the crank window, manual locks, and of course the vent window, which, as I say, is a nice touch. Steering wheel and instrumentation. So chrome blue for the interior paint around that speedometer. But as you see, the only gauge is a speedometer, maxing out at 90 miles an hour. And the odometer incorporated within, it reads under 39,000 miles, but we're gonna be promoting this car as a true mileage unknown car. We can't document that since new. And then above the odometer, right below the 50 on the speedometer, is the fuel gauge. There's the keyhole. Reminds me very much of one for a Porsche 914. I'm thinking that ignition and steering column is exactly the same. But that blue paint and the chrome blue, so a match to the exterior. There are a couple of blanks here. We've covered them, but one is a windshield wiper switch, which has been ordered and will be installed before the next owner gets this car. As I say, it's being sold with an Ontario Safety Standard certificate, so that takes care of the windshield wiper certainly. And I believe the other just needs a grommet. It's a blank. But a light switch there, 4 ways, and then the not sure what that is. Here, we take a close look at it. Emergency, and then another one down there. So glove box here, very cool wood look door to it with a handle above. I'm not going to open the glove box now because there are some personal items in it, including a new oil filter, a Bosch branded oil filter that'll go with the car. But there are photos of the glove box open up in the detailed listing. There's a 12 volt decal, but of course, by 1969, cars had been converted over to 12 volts for certainly over 10 years. Neat look at the pedals, these older style pedals, much like I was talking about a Porsche 914 and the 911s from the era also. The arms for the pedals come up from below as opposed to down from above. So that's a kind of a neat period piece. And you can see a little storage cubby with a cup holder there. That's just sitting there. And as I move it, it is plastic despite the metal appearance, painted plastic. And there's the shifter for the 4-speed manual, reverse bottom left in this car. So pretty good look. Oh, I should show you the headliner. It's also very good in the black vinyl. So we'll make sure that weather stripping gets re-adhered. And the rear view mirror and the visors also in nice condition. So that's a pretty good look at the interior, I think. Here's how you get this seat up. And there's a good look at the upholstery for the back seat as well. So it matches the seat backs and seat bottom of the passenger seat, the seat back of the driver's seat. But again, this driver's seat bottom is a bit of a different pattern on it, although it is the black matching vinyl. So that'll do it for our interior tour. Let's take a look at that storage compartment. All right, we've got that front cover opened. Should have shown you me opening it, but I'll show you closing it. It's covered by a new piece of carpet that I'll say new. That may be a wrong use of the word new, but unused carpet. But it's been folded for a while. It needs some flattening. You can see that fold in there, but otherwise, it does a nice job of the of covering what's underneath. You can see the data plate here as well. We got a photo of that on the detailed listing. The VIN plate's also still in place here, and so I can tell this carpet is an original. It just has a bit more of a modern feel to it, newer materials. But there's some electrical as well, pretty well kept. And there's the fuses. And as you might guess, that is the fuel tank. You can see that cable coming out of that chrome cap or silver colored cap for the fuel sensor to inform the fuel gauge. But yeah, looks good with the carpet in place, all business with it not in place. Let's see if I can get the carpet back with one hand so that I can show you me closing the latch on the door. Not perfect, but good enough for closing the door or the cover that as I wanted to show you. So I'm just being gentle with it. Being it's not my car, but you need to press this button to release the latch. Then it closes into place. And then so long as I'm here, I'll show you opening it. So unopenable without the button. Press her down. No problem at all. So let's move on to some closing thoughts. So there's a good look at our 1969 Volkswagen Beetle 4-speed manual. Again, it's lot 317 on collectorcarcanada.ca. Have a look at our detailed listing now, or there rather. We get into more detail about some of the things I've mentioned here on the video. I didn't mention this, but take a look at our Collector Car Stories podcast as well. We run one of those about every 2 or 3 weeks. We have more material than we have time to bring you, frankly. But we have a couple in the queue ready to go. But we have a lot of fun with those. They're usually about an enthusiast, a car story, maybe a show, a group of cars, or a collection of cars, things like that. But as I say, we have lots of fun with them. If you think you might have a good story for us, we want to keep shooting them through the down season. So hit us up at admin@collectorcarcanada.ca if you have an idea or a subject for a Collector Car Stories podcast. For now, we call this is going to be a part of a car reviews podcast where each week we put all the cars reviewed into one episode. And then, of course, we call them individual car reviews. We call them snippets, and each snippet appears on the detailed listing for the car at hand. So again, 1969 Volkswagen Beetle 4-speed manual, lot 317 on collectorcarcanada.ca. 1500cc engine, flat 4, carbureted, and manual transmission, as I was saying, which gets the power to the rear wheels, subject to an exhaustive restoration in circa 2015 to 2020. Very few miles since it was finished in 2020, always stored in heated indoors. Since my take on this car is the exterior is excellent. The interior is very good. There are a couple of pieces like that carpet we saw in the um, storage compartment up here. It just needs to be flattened out. It'll look so much better. A couple of pieces of carpet in the rear compartment just need to be re-glued. So I think the price will reflect that. As I said, this was the first car we ever auctioned. I don't know if people would remember the reserve price at that time. The market was maybe a little better in 2020 than it is now. Oh, pardon me, I just misspoke. We started in 2021. Certainly, this business was in my mind in 2020, but our first auction began in spring of 21. But as I say, the market was probably better at that time. And I don't give out reserve information, but I'll throw you a little bone here and say that the reserve is more realistic this time because we're hoping to sell it. So that'll about do it. Lot 317, 1969 Volkswagen Beetle 4-speed manual. I want to thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car. Bye for now.